if you're like me and you've got an old ship, a nice old classic car, and some of it's looking a little bit weathered, I'm going to show you today how to turn something like this, crappy old taillight surround, seen better days, into something like this. Today's going to be a short video. I'm just going to do a quick step-by-step on how to restore your old taillight surrounds, whether you want to go back to factory, you want to make them custom, something a little bit different. So let's not mess around, let's get straight into it.
My brand new project. So key with this sort of stuff whenever you're painting anything is good prep. So we're sanding everything back so that any flaky looking paint or any loose bits and pieces are completely gone. And any edges, we want to make sure it's feathered out so you can't feel it when you run your finger over it. If this was a body panel of a car, the process would be very different and a lot more detailed. But because this is an old set of surrounds, it's just getting them to a presentable stage. So I'm using a 600 grit wet or dry sandpaper, and I keep water on hand as the sandpaper lasts a lot longer when you do it that way. So this took about 20 minutes per tail light. You've got to make sure you get into every little nook and cranny, give them a really good wash so that there's nothing that can get painted over that will loosen up underneath and make your paint crack.
Okay, so once we're all sanded, this is what we should look like. This one had been painted by someone before, so the black on there, where it looked like it was chipping or flaking off, I've sanded all the way through. But where it's adhered nicely, I've just sanded that all down smooth. Now this is a spare set I got, so these ones I'm gonna do in satin black. And the other set that I have, I'll probably do them like a gunmetal metallic or something. I did do one as a test on the car. You can see that there. It's got a nice metallic on it. So I'm going to try both and see which one I prefer the look of. And I'll also show you, you can see this taillight actually has a decent gloss to it. I've also done a little trick just to get rid of the chalkiness or the fading off the old ones, which you can see in there. So I'll get to that on another video. This is just a really short one on getting these painted. So I'll get these dried out and in primer. This here is what I use on plastic, just a plastic adhesion promoter. So we'll stick that on before we put any top coat.
So the adhesion promoter, I usually just do 2 light coats, almost like a mist. The main thing for me is making sure that we don't put it on too heavy so that it drips or runs, and we get into every little gap and make sure that it's good even coverage over the whole lot. So I do this to all 3 tail lights before we move to our next step. So I'm painting the satin black one here, that's a little bit easier. And look, this has really good coverage. So the goal is never to fully cover whatever you're painting in one coat. It's just happening here because it has good coverage. But it's much better to build up 4 or 5 lighter coats than try and smash on 1 or 2 really thick coats. It just doesn't adhere as well, it won't finish as nice. So I do 3 coats on this. We let it dry out for about half an hour. Okay, so this is the process for the metallic one. It's similar, but just a little bit more involved. So on the metallic, I actually spray it on even lighter. It's very important to get the metallic even across whatever surface you're spraying. So if you spray too heavy, you might not get drips in the paint, but you can get sort of drip marks in the metallic to the sparkle. So this, I probably build up 5 or 6 coats very lightly, and then we put a clear coat over the top to give it its gloss and a bit more depth.
Okay, so I've got one of each here. I didn't film the clear coat going down on the metallic, but you can see for out of a spray can, it's pretty good. So, look, I'm not a tradesperson spray painter, but the general rule with metallic is you want to put the color on, the metallic bit, in light coats and build it up. And the clear coat, this is all done with a spray can, but I generally try and do 1 coat or coats, but put the clear on as thick as you can without dripping it. And that gives the best gloss. And I've chucked one of each on the car. I think I'm going to go with the metallic for now. The black looks good, but I think the metallic will suit it better. But I'll hold on to each, so I'll have the option. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's a really cheap, really easy way to make your car a little bit different and stand out from the rest. And it pretty much goes for any sort of plastic. You could probably do it with interior plastics as well. But any car that's older and has plastic surrounds like this, I would definitely recommend giving it a go.